Ice Cube's son playing his own dad in a movie, to Maya Hawke proving that not all Nepo babies are terrible. These are some of the biggest Nepo babies in showbiz.
You'd be surprised at how often nepotism puts celebrities on the map. Just take a look at O'Shea Jackson Jr., who played his own dad in a movie. You wouldn't know it just by looking at his name, but O'Shea Jackson Jr. is actually the one and only Ice Cube's son. Most people don't think about the famous rapper and actor's real name, but Ice Cube's just a stage name. And it turns out, O'Shea is literally named after his dad. The only difference is that he uses his real name while working, which adds a layer of secrecy that can keep the Nepo baby claims at bay. That said, O'Shea Jr. hasn't exactly tried to keep the connection under wraps. I mean, he made his acting debut in 2015's Straight Outta Compton, where he played his own father. That's right, O'Shea's really trying to ride this gravy train to the very top. I do wonder, though, if it were not for his well-known father, would he have gotten the role? Like, how many deserving actors got passed over just so that O'Shea could get his big break? To be fair, the guy gave a solid performance in Straight Outta Compton, but that doesn't change the massive boost his name must have gotten him. He's not the only son of a famous actor who got a leg up either. Will Smith's kids, Jaden and Willow, got a really early start thanks to their dad. Anyone remember The Pursuit of Happiness? I found it to be rather enjoyable, despite the fact that it was at times a bit of a sap fest. This is partially due to the bond between Will Smith and his son. Jaden Smith was just 8 years old when he played Christopher Gardner's firstborn, and I remember the producers openly admitting how risky it was to cast him. They knew that if Jaden didn't absolutely nail the part, there would have been hell to pay. Fortunately, the kid pulled through, though something tells me he got a lot of help from his dad. Being raised by an actor is bound to hone your skills at a young age. As for Willow, she decided to become a musician instead of an actor, debuting at the tender age of 10. Again, I am not sure she would have achieved this level of success without her father. I mean, Will Smith's been in the business for so long that he must have heaps of contacts. And being the supportive father that he is, I'm willing to bet he pulled all sorts of strings to get his daughter's career going. Willow and Jaden never really try to hide their privileged status, but did you know that Gwyneth Paltrow is a bona fide Nepo baby too? Now, this is some truly under-the-radar stuff, mostly because her parents weren't famous on the same level as Will Smith or Ice Cube. However, they were in the business. Her dad, Bruce Paltrow, worked as a director and producer, and more importantly, her mom, Blythe Danner, won 2 Emmys and a Tony during her acting career. That's nothing to sneeze at, because growing up with such a talented actress can equip you with certain skills. Most aspiring actors don't have moms who can teach them the inner workings of the industry. You've got to understand that winning an Emmy is just as much about networking as it is about skill. And Gwyneth was able to learn all the secrets right at the start of her career. She's actually trying to pull the same stunt with her own daughter, Apple Martin, who not only has Gwyneth for a mom, but Coldplay frontman Chris Martin for a dad. She showed up at a Chanel show a while ago, and people ate her up, so I'm guessing the dynasty will continue for as long as it can. Now, Apple won't get to use the same name as her famous mom, and Martin just doesn't have the same ring to it as Paltrow. So, in a way, she's not as lucky as some other Nepo babies out there. Take Zoe Kravitz, for example. Her fame has reached a whole new level since she played Catwoman in The Batman. Starring opposite Robert Pattinson, Zoe made the role her own, and she certainly did a better job than Anne Hathaway in my humble opinion. The thing is, she wouldn't have gotten anywhere near the role had it not been for her parents. You see, her dad is actually Lenny Kravitz, a legendary singer with decades of experience and hits like Are You Gonna Go My Way and Let Love Rule under his belt. I haven't even mentioned his acting gigs yet. Oh, and her mom, Lisa Bonet, was on The Cosby Show for about 8 years. That might not seem like a big deal now, but The Cosby Show was a massive hit back in the day. So this is about as potent a combo as you can get. On top of that, Lenny himself is a Nepo baby too. His mom, Roxy Roker, starred in The Jeffersons for a whopping 10 seasons. And she also made history by playing one half of the first interracial couple on American TV. Zoe's basically descended from TV and music royalty, so it's no surprise that she's starring in massive blockbusters nowadays. If you're wondering how she feels about being called a Nepo baby, she actually thinks it's kind of dumb. She gave the example of how names like Smith came into being. That's a pretty decent argument, I guess. But at the same time, is she really comparing the glitz and glamour of Hollywood with being a blacksmith? I'm sorry, Zoe, but this whole kids joining the family business shtick is a bit of a stretch. Anyone would love to become a big-time actor and earn ungodly amounts of money. And if you have a whole lineage that makes it easier for you, it's better to at least recognize how lucky you are. Honestly, most Nepo babies seem downright scared to admit they got a leg up. It's like they're worried people will stop recognizing their talent, or maybe they know they wouldn't be where they are without their famous parents. She does deserve her career because, I'll admit, she's got some decent acting chops. But I can't say the same for Lily Rose Depp. I'm mentioning her now because she's basically given the same excuse as Zoe. According to her, being born to a doctor doesn't automatically make it easier to become one because you still have to go through medical school. Now, I don't know how to tell her this, but having doctor parents absolutely makes things easier for you. For starters, parents are always going to help their kids out. So if you're stuck on a particular topic, you can ask actual experts in the field any time of day. That's not the sort of privilege most people get, and it's also just the tip of the iceberg. Doctors have networks, just like actors, and they can pull strings to get you into a good university, even if your grades aren't great. It doesn't happen all the time, but my point is, Lily Rose is 100% wrong here, though I doubt she's seen enough of the real world to realize. After all, we're talking about Johnny Depp's daughter here. Her dad's connections probably helped her land the gig as the face of Chanel No. 5. Like, are you trying to tell me people won't fall over themselves trying to hire Johnny Depp's kid? And don't even get me started on her acting. Her most prominent gig so far was The Idol. But her performance was so painfully cringeworthy that I simply can't understand how she got the part. Now, you might think that all Nepo babies are entitled and self-absorbed, but there's one person out there who actually recognizes how lucky she is. I'm talking about Maya Hawke, one of the few that's not straight up terrible. When I first saw Maya playing Robin on Stranger Things, I just thought she was a skilled actress who looked vaguely familiar. Imagine my surprise when I found out who her parents were. In case you don't know, her dad is none other than Ethan Hawke, and her mom is Uma Thurman. I should have guessed based on her name, but honestly, I think she looks more like Uma than Ethan. Although in retrospect, she does kind of look like the two photoshopped together. What are her thoughts on being a nepotism baby, you ask? She openly admits how easy her career has been thanks to her parents, saying how grateful she is for all the support. Zoe and Lily Rose should take notes, because it really isn't hard to just recognize the gifts you've been given. So from Maya Hawke proving that not every Nepo baby is terrible, to O'Shea Jackson Jr. playing his dad in a film, these were some of the biggest Nepo babies in showbiz.